viewers. My name's Macharia, the Deputy Principal of St. Joseph's, Tigidi Boys. I've been a teacher for the last 27 years and a Deputy Principal for the last 7 years. Welcome to Meet the HR.
Amazing, amazing guys. Welcome to today's show. Today's going to be a very insightful show, and you're going to learn so many things. So make sure you stick around to get to know and to get to understand what a deputy principal's work involves and their day-to-day. So stick around for this one, okay? So let's start from the top. Why teaching?
Teaching has been my ranking since I was a small child. And I remember one day, my mother was sitting down talking to an elderly woman. And the elderly woman had me teach my younger sister. And this elderly woman told my mother, your son can make a good teacher.
Wow.
And that is how I ended up in teaching.
Just from that scenario.
Yeah.
And then after getting into teaching, which subjects did you focus on?
My subjects are Kiswahili and Christian religious education.
And why did you focus on those two?
Because number one, I loved Kiswahili so much. I loved Mashairis of the poems. Christian religious education, I loved it because I saw it as a subject that not only gives academic knowledge, but also motivation, spiritual nourishment, and even hope to the generation. Yes.
Wow. So after studying education, you got into teaching. How has experience been for you for the period you've been a teacher?
The teaching profession has been challenging, bearing in mind the youth today. In the past, the youth valued education so much, and they were eager to learn. But today, because of the technology, the youth are not so much interested in education. But you see, the work of a teacher is to make it happen. We have to force it into them and make somebody out of nothing.
Wow, that is amazing. And when it comes to teaching, can you take us through the process of what a day looks like in the calendar of a teacher?
Yes. The day of a teacher is quite interesting because a teacher works 24/7.
24/7.
Yeah.
No breaks.
Okay, a few breaks of maybe 30 minutes and maybe a few hours when you are asleep. But as a teacher, once you come to the office from 8 in the morning, you start by making sure that the students have finished their assignments, they have done their duties. Then the bell goes and the lessons start. All through up to around 4. So then after that, you supervise the games. After that, you supervise the supper, you supervise the night preps. And until they go to sleep and they are sound asleep, you cannot go to sleep. That's the only time you retire to bed.
After you're sure that the students are going to sleep.
Yes, after you are sure that they have all slept and the lights are off. Yes.
So, after how many years were you able to step into the shoes of being a deputy principal?
I've been a deputy principal for the last 7 years. Yes.
But before that, how long did it take for you to get to be a deputy principal?
I took about 19 years in teaching as a teacher before I was promoted by my employer to become a deputy principal. Yes.
And what are some of the requirements that you must have for you to be a teacher?
Some of the requirements that you must have for you to be a teacher is the will. Because unlike other professions, teaching is more of a vocation and a calling. If you cannot be able to carry another person's burden, then you can never be a teacher. Because a teacher not only gives knowledge, but also gives hope. Gives a shoulder to lean on to the students, maybe who have emotional damages. And that is the work of a teacher. Yes.
And so on the professional bit of it, we have had cases of people who have pursued the course of, let's say, education, but haven't had the chance to get the TSC number, so right now they can't be employed. So what are the necessary steps for you to take for you to qualify as a teacher and a government civil servant of that?
Okay. Number one, you have to qualify from a college, either with a degree or with a diploma. And then after that, you apply for a TSC number. After getting the TSC number, you can attend an interview for any school that requires a teacher of your subjects. And if you are successful, you get employed. Yes.
But right now, it's mandatory for you to have the TSC number.
It is mandatory because you must be TSC compliant for you to be a registered Kenyan teacher. You can't be registered Kenyan teacher. You can't be a teacher unless you are registered. And the registration comes once you get your TSC number. Yes.
So for the people out there who don't have TSC numbers, it's because they have not complied to the needs.
Yes.
TSC one.
Yes, or maybe they have applied, but the TSC is yet to give them the numbers.
So it's just a matter of patience.
It's just a matter of time and they will have their TSC numbers. Yes.
Okay, and how was the transition from being a teacher to a deputy principal?
To be sincere, the transition was not so sweet because number one, you are stepping into a new office which you have never handled before. And therefore you expect a lot of guidance from your boss and many other things that you'll be learning from even your colleagues. We have a wall of WhatsApp that we learn from each other. So that you know when you are doing the right thing or when you are doing the wrong thing. And more so even to understand the basic education acts so that you do not find yourself at the wrong side of the law. Yes.
Wow. And what new responsibilities did you take up after taking the seat of the deputy principal? Okay.
There are many, apart from teaching, there are maintenance of discipline and order in school. Also to counsel the students and to understand the students and also to know what they are going through so that you can mentor them well in case there is a problem. Understand the cause, the reason for their behavior so that you can be able to direct them in the right way and not to misjudge them. Yes.
And there's this notion that we had, especially when we were back in high school, and I know viewers back at home, you can concur with me, the deputy principals, they were not really liked in schools. And they were generally seen as bad people. Is that the same case for you?
Yeah. Remember, we are dealing with the youth.
Yes.
And the youth do not like to be coerced, do not like to be shown the correct way. But as a mature person, as a person who has been put there in charge, you have to make sure that they follow the right way, all for their own good and for their good future. If that is not done, and the students do not do well academically, morally and socially, then the deputy principal, you'll be answerable to the society. You have failed in your work as a deputy principal. Yes.
So you need to make sure that it doesn't matter whether the students like you or not, you have to uphold discipline.
Of course, even though that's not what I say. I say this, sometimes students may like you. Sometimes they may dislike you. But the most important thing is do the right thing for them and for the school.
That is what matters. Do the right thing for them and for the school.
And for the school,
to make sure everything stays afloat.
Yes, to make sure that everything stays afloat and everything moves on well.
And what are some of the other duties that a deputy principal has, aside from the discipline aspect of it, and make sure the management of the school is running smoothly? What other duties?
Let me say this, that deputy principal is an all-round person, actually doing almost everything. Because apart from teaching, you are also an anti-narcotics officer to make sure that students do not bring in drugs and they do not consume drugs in school, because that will mess up with their future. So you are an anti-narcotics officer. You are also a security officer. You make sure that everybody is safe. And even the safety regulations at the schools comply with the safety regulations of the Ministry of Education. So you are no round person to make sure that even at times you might be called even at night in case there is a case of emergency, somebody sick, or maybe there is an issue in the school. So you must make sure that you are available when needed. In every area that pertains to the school and to the students, you must be there when needed. Yes.
Wow, amazing. Guys, I hope you're following through this conversation and I'm learning a thing or two that are very, very important for you to implement. And if you've not taken this career path of being a teacher, there's still so much more that you need to know so that you can understand what the field involves. Now, when it comes to the transition from teaching to being a deputy principal, did you have to how does it happen, or how did it happen for you? Did you have to write a letter, or what happened?
The promotion of the Teacher Service Commission is through an interview. So I sat for an interview and I was successful. Therefore, I was promoted from being a teacher to a deputy principal. So it must be through a competitive interview. Yes.
And do you write to be invited to, or do they themselves invite you for the interview?
Okay, you apply for the interview. They float the vacancies, and then you apply for the interview, and they shortlist you. If you are successful, then you are invited for the interview. After the interview, you wait for the results. And if you are successful in that interview, you receive a letter telling you that you have been promoted and you have been maybe retained in your former school, or you have been transferred to another school.
Oh, so it's up to the employer to know where they will post you. You don't get to choose.
Yes, you don't get to choose. You are an officer and you can work in any part of this country.
Oh, so if they take you from one county and take you to one that you probably know nothing about. You just go.
You just go and run from the job. You run from there. How the people stay, you run their culture and everything after you land there. Because every Kenyan child needs education, and every Kenyan school needs a deputy principal.
Very true. So, Mr. Macharia, you have shared about what it involves when it comes to being a deputy principal. Now, can you tell us what are some of the qualities that you need to uphold so that you can make sure that you are effective as a good deputy principal?
Number one, for you to be a good deputy principal, remember your work is to deputize. So, number one, you help your boss, the principal, in the management of the school. And when we talk of management of a school, we mean we manage the teachers, the students, the support staff, and even the resources that are there in the school. You must be good at reasoning so that you can be able to understand what each and every person, each and every stakeholder in the school is going through, even the students. Once there is a disagreement, you have to have a very good reasoning skill, capability, so that you can be able to reason to their problems and offer them solutions. Because when they come to you, they come to you so that you can give them solution. Yes. Wow.
Those are very good qualities right there. And now when it comes to teaching, right now we have so many people complaining that the teachers that are now joining the teaching industry, they are half-baked and they might not be able to meet the requirements because most of them have cheated their way so that they can be able to complete schooling. Do you think that that will in any way affect the teaching space?
I don't think so, because when the teachers have gone through the education system, through college, and they are tested and have proven themselves ready or capable of teaching, the work that they will do is true that when one starts working, of course there are some challenges here and there before you familiarize yourselves with the teaching and the other records that are required. But after some time, they take off their roles and they take them well. Because that is all that the teachers go through when they start teaching. There are a few challenges here and there. We call them teething problems. And then after that, they carry on with their duties well. Yes.
So it's something that will pass over time. They will just catch up.
Yeah, they catch up and they do it well.
Okay, and with the introduction of this artificial intelligence, like softwares like ChatGPT, do you feel in any way it affects the teaching space?
It may affect because, you see, with the technology, even some of us teachers, we are yet to learn some things, but we are learning slowly by slowly. But because we cannot fight technology, we have to learn, you know, slowly by slowly, we get used to it. Yes, so I don't believe it will affect the teaching profession in any way.
Yeah, it will only complement.
Yes.
Make it better.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. And with the introduction of CBC, now that you have been a teacher for so long, you have been through the 844 and the transition now to CBC. How has it been for you?
We are still running as a new system. We are still running. And the ministry is yet to give us a syllabus of what we are supposed to teach and the skills that we are supposed to impart to our learners. So we are still waiting so that we can know what this new CBC entails. But we do believe that the government will give us a way forward. The ministry will give us a way forward, and we shall be able to carry out our duties well. Yes.
But in comparison to the 844, how is the CBC doing so far?
You see, this is something that we have not handled in secondary school as yet. So we cannot compare. But once maybe we start offering the CBC curriculum in secondary schools, maybe that's the time we can be able to compare and see how CBC is better compared to the 844 system. But for now, we are still waiting to see
how things will unfold.
Yes.
Okay. And as a deputy principal, you talked about how handling discipline in your docket. So how do you handle the discipline issues that occur in school? Okay,
there are many ways of handling discipline cases in the school. And it is we do controlled by the Ministry of Education. There are guidelines as pertains to the rules. There is a Basic Education Act 2013 that banned corporal punishment. So we do not use the cane on a child, but more so we use more of counseling to the student. We first understand why the student is doing what he's doing, or why the student is indisciplined. Could it be an acquired thing, or could it something that is that is in him? For example, if it is use of abusive language, it is something acquired. Is it something that he has learned? Now, things like theft, maybe, for example, is it something that he has acquired, or something, or he has done that because he or she is in need, so that we can know how to handle that case. Also, parental involvement. Parents are very, very important because they are the stakeholders in the school. And when maybe their kids are in discipline, we have to let their parents know. We have to have them on board so that they can also assist us in how to handle indiscipline. But in most cases, we don't give out discipline. We don't discipline students in a way that will make them feel bad or feel morally down, because finally they are our students and we want them to succeed in life. Yes.
And that's why I think when you said that being a teacher is more of a vocation and a calling, I think it's very, very true, because it's sad that we have seen some teachers who have brutally beaten up students, which isn't what you're called to do. Your job is to guide them and discipline them in a way that is right, okay?
Yes.
So what are some of the challenges that you have faced as a deputy principal?
Okay, there are some challenges that we face today. And number one, at times we get lack of cooperation from parents. We are trying to help the students. and maybe who is indisciplined, but the parent comes to defend their children. Yeah. They say blood is thicker than water. So, and now as a deputy principal, it's you to use your own wisdom to help the parent as well as the student. Because the most important person in the schooling system is a student, who is our client. So if we can be able to bring up the student in the best way possible, finally the parent will come to understand that you are doing it for the student's own good, and not to harm or to cause maybe a feeling of being unwanted in a school. Yes.
Wow. And with the issue of mental health, it is an issue that so many people are really looking into, and there's so many talks happening. Even during May, we had the Mental Health Awareness Month. So how would you say the school curriculum or the school system has incorporated that to help students more?
Okay, we have a guidance and counseling department in the school, and its work is to guide the students. There are some students who may be down, maybe because of the issues that they are going through, family or otherwise. And these issues can bring about maybe students being stressed, not working well in class. And therefore, the teachers, deputy included, it's our work to know what is making a student maybe drop, nosedive in the academics or getting mediocre grades. So it's our duty to find out what is causing all this. Could it be that the student has a mental issue? Could it be an issue that is maybe emanating from drugs or use of maybe some illegal substances? And then from there, the school has a disciplinary committee that looks at each case individually, but all meant to help the students get the best out of the students.
Yes. That's the goal, to help the students.
Yes.
Wow, that is amazing. Now, unfortunately, guys, we're coming to the end of this show, but I'm hoping that it has been a very insightful show for you. When we're going to the deputy principal, the own grade, okay? So, Mr. Macharia, what word of advice would you give to teachers out there who are still upcoming and are looking forward to be in the seat where you're seated as a deputy principal using this camera right here?
Okay. The advice that I would give to teachers today, number one, is to do your work diligently, knowing that the greater reward is in heaven. The society may not understand what you go through to produce those grades, but God in heaven understands what you go through. The deputy principals do not give up in your work, because your work is to make sure that you produce the best morally, socially, academically, and psychologically. Teachers or students who are aspiring to be teachers, just know that teaching is more than a profession. If you cannot be able to carry somebody else's child on your back without complaining, then don't leave teaching alone, because teaching is more of a sacrifice. And when we do this, when we see our students doing well in the society, when we go to the hospitals and find doctors, our own students, lawyers, our own students, that gives us satisfaction. So I want to tell teachers, work hard and know that those who do well and those who work very, very hard, God in heaven will always reward their deeds. Yes.
Wow, amazing. Teaching is not just a profession. I think that is my takeaway home for today. Teaching is not just a profession. It requires a lot of sacrifice. So we've heard of so many stories whereby people chose a particular career path or chose a particular path when it comes to what they want to do for life because of the influence of teachers. So you're doing a really, really good job as a teacher out there. And yeah, there you have it. We've had a very, very insightful conversation. And I hope to see you guys next week, same place, same time. And remember, here at Meet the HR, we say there is no luck in career, but it's an opportunity meets preparation. So go out there, prepare yourself for that career, and I will see you in the job market. My name is Sylvia Ranja. Till next time, bye-bye.